We're joined by Joseph Costa. He's the leader of the Truman National Security Project's Nuclear Non-Proliferation Expert Group. He's an associate vice president with the Cohen Group and joins us from D.C. tonight. Good to have you with us, Joseph. The nuclear talks, I don't know that we could get any more mixed signals out of Lausanne. The Iranians and the Russians sounding optimistic, the Americans not so much. What do you read into all this?
Right. Well, I think this is just an indication of just how challenging and complex this set of negotiations has been and will continue to be. I think what we will come out of this will be some sort of a general statement that will provide an outline of areas that all parties can talk about looking towards the June 30th deadline, which is the real hard deadline when the current interim joint statement of work will come to end. And I think we'll probably see a few areas where the parties will agree, here are the gaps, here are the details we need to talk about further and organize into more technical groups. But,
right, but that was
just an indication of just how hard and complex these issues are.
Right, that was the plan all along, to come up with a framework. It wouldn't be a final deal. But do you think, when I hear you say outline, do you think that they may be backing off? Because reports were that, this framework was going to mean about an 80%, it would be 80% toward a final agreement. Do you think it's going to be much less than that?
I think it'll probably be a little bit less of that. And I also think that it's going to leave enough generalities that you're going to find there'll be a little bit of fudging going on, and some statements could be widely interpreted, is the way I'd put it. They want to show positive momentum. They're going to want to show that they've done more with these talks to help sort of stave off some of the opponents of the negotiations. And at the same time, they're going to have to be very direct and honest and somewhat clear on where the gaps remain and what they're going to have to work very hard on for the next few months.
All right, talking about staving off the opponents, that is going to be an issue even if a deal is reached, because you've got politics getting in the way on both sides. You've got hardliners in Iran who don't want the Iranians to give up much, and then you've got people in Washington on both sides of the aisle. This is not just a Republican-led opposition to President Obama on all this, who are calling for a tougher deal and calling for more sanctions on Iran.
That's correct. Yeah, I think what you have, if you see Senator Chuck Schumer from New York, who's in line to be the next minority leader in the Senate on the Democrat side, who has come out very clearly stating some of his concerns with the agreement. So when we're looking at potential discussion of sanctions legislation next month, that could be very concerning from the administration's point of view, where you might be able to actually garner a veto-proof majority. But I actually think that where we stand now, that Congress will allow this with a bit of noise to play out until the end of June. So I think the stakes are high over the next few months. I think there's got to be some real hard decisions that are made. And if nothing's concluded by the end of June, I think that we're going to find ourselves in much more difficult, challenging circumstances where another extension just might be too politically costly.
Do you think that in the end, if an agreement is reached, your group is, you focus on non-proliferation. Are you comfortable that whatever deal we get to will prevent Iran from ultimately getting a bomb, assuming they want to get a bomb?
Well, I wouldn't say comfortable. What you hope to see in the final details of this agreement is that the verification and enforcement measures are strong enough and robust enough that you provide yourself with enough room that if Iran were to make a political decision to maybe pursue a nuclear weapon, there would be enough tripwires where the international community would catch them ahead of time. So I think we're entering new terrain here where there really isn't another historical case of the type of verification mechanisms that will be imposed on Iran for this to be acceptable to the international community. So it's important we get this right, and it's important that this is a good deal and that we don't just accept any deal.